What's up everybody, I hope you're all well. Today in this video we're going to be doing a battery drain test between the iPhone 15, the iPhone 14, and the iPhone 13. So these are Apple's three latest generations of standard tier iPhones. And before we jump in, a few things to go over real quick about how I conducted this test. All three of the iPhones we're using in this video are brand new. Of course the iPhone 15 just came out, so it is of course a brand new iPhone. And I also went out and bought a brand new iPhone 14 and a brand new iPhone 13 specifically for this video to ensure none of these devices have any varying levels of battery degradation. The only way to truly have a fair battery test is if every device has a brand new battery inside. The display brightness is evenly matched on all devices to the absolute best of my abilities, and I used a lux meter for precision. All three of these iPhones are connected to the very same Wi-Fi network and the very same cellular network, but Wi-Fi will be on and connected throughout the entire test. And the media volume is also turned all the way down on all of them, and True Tone, Night Shift, and Auto Brightness are also disabled on all of them. And each of these iPhones is on their latest respective version of iOS 17 as of recording this video. And before we jump into the tests, I just want to take a moment and thank PowerPeak for sponsoring this video. PowerPeak offers multiple MagSafe compatible iPhone 15 cases such as the Crystalline Pro Clear series that features up to 10-foot drop protection while maintaining a sleek, thin design, all while allowing you to still enjoy the color and design of your iPhone through the clear back and sides. Another great option is the ProTech series, which features up to 15-foot drop protection, and it also maintains a very slim profile. PowerPeak also offers a wide variety of other accessories, including their 25-watt USB-C fast charging adapter and their 6-foot USB-C to USB-C cable, perfect for fast charging your iPhone 15. I'll leave links to all these products in the video description, and if you use any of those links, you'll get an exclusive 35% off. You can also use code ULTIMATEiDevice for 35% off any order on PowerPeak's store. PowerPeak offers just about everything you need to both protect and charge up your new iPhone 15. Big thanks to them for sponsoring this video. And alright, with everything set up and all devices charged up to 100%, we're going to go ahead and turn off the power strip that they're all connected to. We'll get rid of the power cables. And we're going to kick things off with 1 hour of YouTube video streaming. So we're going to stream the very same video at 1080p quality for 1 hour. And checking in after a full hour of YouTube video streaming, you can see very similar performance so far, all losing between 1 and 3% within this hour of YouTube. So next up, we're going to head on over to Safari for 1 hour of web browsing. So we're going to be loading web pages and scrolling through web pages on apple.com for the first 30 minutes and theverge.com for the second 30 minutes. And checking in after a full hour of web browsing, same overall pattern to report, with the iPhone 15 in the lead, but just by a little bit at this point. Next up, we're going to head on over to Instagram for 1 hour of scrolling through posts. And guys, it's very important when watching battery tests like this and interpreting the results of them to consider that, these tests are not at all representative of how, most people use their phones at all. I mean, who uses their phone from 100% charged to all the way dead in one sitting in the same location, So there's a lot of things that we're not accounting for in tests like this, such as, of course, standby time, which is time when your phone is just asleep in your pocket or on a table when you're not using it. Also, varying levels of cell signal strength and Wi-Fi strength from moving around throughout your day. Varying levels of temperature from being in different locations throughout your day, which can affect the battery performance, and just a whole host of other factors. And of course, it also just all depends on how you use your device. So what you can really hope to get out of videos like this is just kind of an overall idea of how these devices, perform when put through, the very same set of specific tasks. Not really something that you could directly translate into actual day-to-day life. But anyways, checking in after an hour of Instagram, you can see here, yet again, pretty much same thing to report here, with the iPhone 13 and iPhone 14 performing very similarly, with the iPhone 15 just a little bit more ahead now. So next up, we're going to head on over to TikTok for 1 hour of scrolling through posts. And in terms of battery capacities, the iPhone 15 now has a 3,349 milliamp hour battery. And that's a little bit of an upgrade over the iPhone 14, which has a 3,279 milliamp hour battery. Not a huge upgrade, but, a little bit. And by the way, the iPhone 13 has a 3,227 milliamp hour battery for context. So from each of these three generations going up, just a little bit of an upgrade each year. But, of course, that adds up quite a lot over time. But it obviously depends on a whole host of other factors like the processor, the efficiency with that. So, battery capacity, just in terms of the number, doesn't always translate to a longer battery life. There's just a lot going on inside of a phone that contributes to how it's actually going to translate in terms of the actual performance that you're going to see. And checking in after a full hour of scrolling through TikTok posts, you can see similar amount of percentages lost here as well. And interestingly enough, as you can see, the iPhone 13 is actually a little bit ahead of the iPhone 14. Usually when I run these tests, the iPhone 14 is ahead of the 13, so definitely a little bit of a strange result, but you should always keep in mind that in tests like this, there's always variables that you just can't control, that are kind of up to chance, that are a bit random, whether it be like a process that's running in the background that we can't really account for, or some other, again, just variable that we can't control. So, differences between, 1 and 6% are generally not really worth considering in the grand scheme of things, because coming for someone who's run these tests, dozens of times on these devices, sometimes you'll run a test one day on the same device, then you run the same test the next day, and you'll get, a little bit different results. So, again, don't take these tests as like percent point by percent point analysis. We're just kind of looking for the big picture. But anyways, as you can see, we've moved on to 1 hour of playing Minecraft. All the graphics settings are set to the same on all 3 devices, of course. And checking in after a full hour of playing Minecraft, you can see here, they all lost a very similar amount of percentage, give or take between 1 and 3 percentage points. But with the same trends continuing, we're going to move on to 1 hour of playing PUBG. And of course, the graphic settings are set to the exact same for this game as well. And checking in after a full hour of playing PUBG here, I sound like a broken record at this point, but not a whole lot new to report here. Similar overall performance patterns so far. And so far, all 3 devices have been performing very great in this test. I mean, considering all that we've put them through, they're all holding up, again, fantastic. So with the first round of the battery test complete, we're going to head back to YouTube for our second scheduled hour of YouTube video streaming. We're going to stream the very same video, 1080p quality, full screen for another hour. And checking in after our second hour of YouTube video streaming, yet again, similar percentage losses here, with both the 13 and the 15 losing 7% and the 14 losing 9%. So we're going to move on to our second scheduled hour of web browsing, once again on apple.com and theverge.com. So what do you guys think about the iPhone 15? Is this a device that you'd consider upgrading to? Personally, I think it's a great incremental update, definitely not anything groundbreaking, just a few nice improvements added. It is nice having the dynamic island on the standard tier iPhones. It definitely makes them feel a lot more premium. Also, of course, USB-C is great just to have, that same connector across, probably all your devices at this point. And, also just the slightly tweaked design with the more rounded corners and, the frosted back glass instead of the glossy glass. I think it just makes the devices feel a little bit more like the Pros, a little bit more premium. Just an overall good upgrade, but definitely not something that I would recommend upgrading from if you already have an iPhone 13 or an iPhone 14, but pretty solid upgrade. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But anyways, after our post web browsing check-in, we're going to move on to our second scheduled hour of scrolling through Instagram posts. And checking in after that, you can see similar patterns persisting here, with the 15 now firmly in the lead. It's definitely a nice improvement to see. As I said earlier, these, small incremental battery improvements over the years definitely add up. It's not going to feel like anything crazy when you're going from one generation to the next, but, you go 4 or 5 years without upgrading your phone, you're definitely going to see that difference, add up over time just with these steady improvements. But anyways, as you can see, we've moved on to our second scheduled hour of scrolling through TikTok posts, and 9 hours and 52 minutes into the test, the iPhone 14 dies. And once again, in regards to the iPhone 14 dying a little bit before the 13 here, I wouldn't read anything into that at all. Again, as someone who runs these tests on iPhones frequently, you almost always see variations of a few percentage points from one test to another that have no identifiable explanation. There's always going to be a degree of randomness to tests like this, and a difference as minor as this shouldn't be considered. But alright, checking in after our second scheduled hour of TikTok, both the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 15 lost the exact same amount of percentage, being 8%. The iPhone 13 barely hanging on at 3%, and the iPhone 15 now at 17%. So next up, we're going to move on to our second scheduled hour of playing Minecraft, and 10 hours and 13 minutes into the test, the iPhone 13 dies. And much later, at 11 hours and 4 minutes into the test, the iPhone 15 finally dies. So guys, as you've seen throughout this video, all 3 of Apple's latest standard iPhones have fantastic battery life. And I'm pretty confident in saying that the average person isn't going to have any issues with battery life on any of these iPhones. The results of this test have showed that the iPhone 15 does improve battery life a bit, which is always great to see. And once again, it's important to remember that there's always going to be variables in these tests that we can't account for. So don't interpret the results of these tests on a minute by minute, percent point by percent point basis. We're just kind of looking for, overall performance trends throughout the entire video. And by that metric, all three of these devices have, again, done an outstanding job in this test. And guys, that just about wraps it up for this video. I hope this was helpful to you. Thank you all so much for watching, and of course, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.